recorded a video for myself mainly of just everything that happened at the convention, but it went for half an hour, so I'm not going to be using that. This will be more of a top however many things I say. But if you want to know more about the convention, or should be interested in wanting to go into future events, hopefully after watching this video, I've got Twitter and Ask FM, links in the description. It was just weird. Matt came along, forgot, because I was waiting in queue with my purple jacket and my Series 5 Matt Smith shirt, as well as this fellow. As Matt walked in, which was nerve-wracking enough, he went, "Oh, badger!" Oh god, what was that noise? Oh, badger, badger, let's get a photo with a badger. And he like held the badger, and then he asked, "What do you want to do next? Oh, you're going to have a photo? Let's do a pose. I want to do a pose." And I went, "Do you want to do a double Sonic?" No, badger, badger. The first photo, as you can see, excitement, badger holding, action there. And then on the side, more action, badger holding. And I feel like we did the same face. Pretty similar. So yeah, and then I went around the corner and there's Karen, and I died inside. With this photo, I feel like it was caught in the moment of me moving to get the photo, but she was like, "Oh, badger!" This photo as well, which looks great. I'm just so happy that it happened. It feels so weird, you know. As you might know, this channel used to be called Will Loves Karen. I changed it for the purpose of maybe eventually one day getting an interview with Karen or Matt, because I feel like that old username would have limited my interview ability-ness. And then I moved over to Alex Kingston's one. She's just so graceful, and Sonic holding pose, there you go, and Charlie got in the frame as well. And so yeah, then we all sat down again, and there was a wait, and then we had our group photos, which was a great moment. There was a line, we were waiting for a while because Matt had to do a few extra photos, and Karen had to do an extra photos. Matt was still taking photos, Karen sat down, but she just took the camera, like the camera that was taking photos, and she took photos of the line. And I did my usual, so my eyes are wide open, and I did it from the start of her taking the photos. So she got to the section where I am, and I don't know, does this do it? See that green light? So I'll show you. So my face was doing this, and she went, and then took the photo, and my eyes were watering, and she laughed, and I'm like, "Come on!" And then I walked up, and I got this photo, which is like the highlight of my entire life. There's a bit of tangling, I'm not using that. There's a bit of tangling all the scarves and stuff, and to the legs, it's just like a shambles. And then there was a long wait, and then we went to the meet and greet thing, and we ate food first, because apparently the other places no one ate the food because they got the guests in straight away. So I had the aforementioned knowledge from some friends who went to other states that the turned up cherry one is the one they sat on, so I made sure I ran straight to the chair next to it. And Matt Smith sat down first, and he's like, "Oh, badger!" because we put the badger on the chair. I don't know what that voice is, that's definitely not Matt Smith. And he's just, all three of the guests were so open and loving, and I think jumping to the end of what this video would sound like, I'd definitely pay the money for the big tickets just for that table sit down with the guests, because it's so warm and welcoming the way they talk to you, and just, I hope, but they make it feel like they appreciate your time, which is great, and because of course we do appreciate every minute we get to have with these guests. And people were giving him on my table suggestions for where to go in Adelaide, and I turned to him and went, "This is good news for me, I don't know anything about Adelaide." And he went, "Oh, where are you from?" And I went, "Sydney," and he goes, "Sydney? Why didn't you just go to the Sydney one?" And I said, "Karen," and he said, "Oh, fair enough." So, you know, it's just like having a conversation with a big table of people, and everyone on the table were absolutely lovely. Everyone at the convention were brilliant, but there was a good table, and everyone was very, you know, allowed everyone to speak freely, which was great. Matt repeatedly said that I wasn't old enough to know the things I knew, because he was talking about, you know, he talked about wanting to do a underwater episode because it'd be great, but there was actually already one with and I said Patrick Trout, and he went, "How old that? you're too young. And then he talked about some of us do have them, and that, oh, Betty, I did a whoopsie in my beret. And he went, how do you know? Because that's not a very common thing for people, especially my age, no. He also asked everyone, oh, so what's everyone doing tomorrow on Monday? Going back to work? And I said, back to school. And he went, back to school? Really? How old are you? And I said, 17, final year. And he went, oh, fair enough. So what are you studying? And we just, not for long, but a sort of chat about what school life is like. So that was quite a, settle down Facebook, that was quite a, you know, that was quite interactive and very personal moment with the doctor. Back to Will. The badger was there, and as they switched over, Karen and Matt, she went, oh, the badger! And Matt was like, yeah, it's Charlie the badger, as he walked away to a different table, and she just wouldn't take Charlie off. That sounds bad. Just holding and talking with Charlie, like it became her hand. The table had already established that I was the Sydney one, and then we talked about Adelaide and how Adelaide wasn't full of convicts, so they got a more posh sounding accent. And then they all went, except for him, and she seemed really concerned. She was like, oh, why is he a convict? Because that's what they said, except him, he's a convict. You know, I said I'm from Sydney, and she went, oh, why didn't you go to the Sydney one? And I went, because of you. And I hope within her mind she didn't go, that's really creepy. But externally she went, oh, that's so sweet. And then, of course, the cult of the badger happened, because she asked we should all meet up, not her included, but the table itself meet up. And she's like, oh, and the badger could be your mascot, and you could pass it around the table. And she like passed it to me, and I accepted it and bowed and moved it along, and she laughed, and it was like the crinkly nose cute thing, and a life goal achieved multiple times during the table thing, making Karen Gillan laugh. It's like, that's the peak of existence, really. And then this, of course, this photo, which is on Twitter, and my head's just slightly in it. I wish I'd moved over a little bit, but a lovely? Yeah, sure. But a combination of words there, another lovely. One of the people on the table, Emily, got her face right in the photo, which was great. Not jealous at all. Karen also attacked me on the nose with Charlie. Considering he's a puppet, it makes complete and utter sense. SpongeBob, back to past Will, sorry. And then Alex Kingston sat down and picked up Charlie and went, oh, I hope there's... She's not Scottish. I hope there's no cameras in his eyes. Then she grabbed Charlie and went like that. So, you know, I think out of everyone at the convention, this guy wins, I think. It was just, you didn't want to ask her questions or join in because she was just so interesting. And it was great having her to contrast the madness that ensued in the previous two sittings. And then, of course, she moved on, and then she had brought and then there was the panels, and I twice helped Alex Kingston out on what the name of a Star Wars creature... That's not the noise, but the Ewoks. And then she asked what the slimy things that come out of the water were, and they're, of course, the Sea Devils. So it was quite cool, because as she talked about, you know, the slimy things that come out of the sea, she sort of looked at me, hoping that I'd know what I was talking about. I still didn't say that correctly. And then Matt's panel came along, and I got to ask him about what happened to Charlie, in the voice of Charlie, which you will hopefully see on the DVD, which you should all buy because I can't wait to see all the other panels and excitement. When Matt began to sign the autograph on the thing, which I'll show you in a second, I bought him some socks. I wanted to buy Karen some organic chocolate and something to do with a rabbit for Alex Kingston, but I couldn't get those two things. But I did have socks for Matt, and he was signing the autograph, and I put the socks down, and I said, these are some groovy socks for you, because I know you like groovy socks. And he stopped signing the autograph and picked them up and was like, oh man, oh, you know me in a nutshell. I love socks. You've got it. I love them. I'm going to wear these, man. I can't wait. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I always like seeing interviews because he always wears really cool socks in the interviews, and he's like, yeah, well, make sure you look at when I go to conventions in America and places like that, or in the photos, I'll have the socks on because that's where I like wearing cool socks. So watch out for the photos, man. I'll definitely be wearing them. And I'm like, Yes, this is what I got signed. Doctor Who magazine issue something. So that's all their autographs. But yes, that was Whoniverse. So I hope that was somewhat informative and enjoyable. And if it wasn't, I apologise, sort of, maybe a little bit. And I'll see you in the next video, which will be here in a matter of a flash. That was corny and ridiculous.